Hi all, welcome back to Concept-Wise Learning Hub. In today's session, we will continue our discussion on the topic partnership. Partnership is a business where two or more persons come together to run a business and share its profit and losses. Compared to a sole proprietorship, a partnership has more resources because several people contribute capital, skills, and experience. It is easy to start, flexible to manage, and suitable for small and medium sized business. In the session, we will first understand the advantages of partnership. Let's discuss the first two advantages of partnership. The first one is ease of formation. A partnership is very easy to form. Only an agreement between the partners is required. It can be oral or written, although a written agreement is always recommended. There are very few legal formalities, and registration is not compulsory under the Indian Partnership Act. For example, if two friends decided to open a bakery and agreed to share the investment, work, and profits, they can easily start a partnership business. The second advantage is more capital availability. Since each partner contributes money, the total capital availability becomes much higher than in a sole proprietorship. For example, if three partners contribute 2 lakhs each, the business starts with an investment of 6 lakh. This helps the business to expand more easily. Now let's discuss three more advantages. The first one is combined skill and knowledge. Every partner has different abilities. For example, one partner may be good at marketing, another at finance, and another at production. When they work together, the business benefits from their combined knowledge and experience. The next is quick decision making. Compared to a company, a partnership has fewer members, so decision can be taken quickly without lengthy meetings. For example, a restaurant partnership can immediately introduce a new dish after discussing it among the partners. The third advantage is sharing of risk. Business always involves risk. In a partnership, the risk is shared among all partners according to the agreed profit sharing ratio. For example, if four equal partners suffer a loss of rupees 1 lakh, each partner bears only rupees 25,000. This reduces the financial burden of each individual. Although partnership has many advantages, it also has certain limitations. So let's discuss the limitations. The first one is unlimited liability. This is the biggest disadvantages. If the firm's assets are not enough to repay its debt, the partners must use their personal assets to pay the remaining amount. For example, if the business has rupees 10 lakh debt but only 6 lakh worth of assets are available in the firm, the partners must personally pay the remaining 4 lakh rupees. Next is limited capital. Although partners contribute more capital than a sole proprietor, they cannot raise money from general public like a company. Therefore, large businesses usually prefer the company form. Next limitation is risk of disagreement. Since there are two or more partners, difference of opinions may arise. Partners may disagree on business decisions such as expansion, investment, or profit distribution. If these disagreements are not resolved, they may affect the smooth functioning of the business. For example, one partner may want to open a new branch, while another may feel it too risky. The next one is uncertain life. A partnership may come to an end if a partner dies, become insolvent, retires, or becomes mentally incapable. However, the remaining partners can continue the business if they sign a new partnership agreement. The next is lack of public confidence. Partnership firms are not legally required to publish their financial statements. Because of this, banks and the publics may have less confidence in partnership firms compared to companies. This sometimes make it difficult to obtain large loans. Now let's discuss the registration of a partnership firm. Registration is not compulsory under the Indian Partnership Act 1932. However, it is highly advisable because a registered firm enjoys several legal benefits. The registration process is simple. The step 1 is filling the application form with details such as the firm's name, address, partners, and duration of partnership. The next step is to submit. Submit the application to the registrar of firms along with the prescribed fee. The third step is verification. The registrar verifies the information. The fourth step is certification. If everything is correct, the firm receives a certificate of registration. This certificate receives a legal proof that the partnership firm has been registered. So remember, registration is optional but beneficial. Let's understand the benefits of registration. The first point is firm can sue others. A registered partnership firm has the legal right to file a case against third parties. For example, if a customer refuses to pay goods supplied, the registered firm can approach the court. The next is partners can sue each others. If a dispute arises among the partners, a registered firm allows them to seek legal remedies. For example, if one partner misuses the firm's money, the other partners can take legal action. The next point is better legal protection and credibility. Registration increases the firm's credibility. Banks, suppliers, and customers generally have greater confidence in registered firm. This also makes it easier to obtain loans and business opportunities. So the biggest advantages of registration is that it gives the firm legal rights to enforce its claim in court. Now let's understand the partnership deed. A partnership deed is a written agreement between the partners. It clearly mentioned all the terms and conditions of partnership business. Although a written deed is not compulsory by law, it is strongly recommended because it helps to prevent misunderstanding and dispute in the future. If there is no written deed, the provision of the Indian Partnership Act 1932 will automatically apply. These legal provisions may not always match what the partners originally intended. Therefore, preparing a written partnership deed is always the best option. So remember, partnership agreement can be oral or written, but a partnership deed is always a written agreement. In the previous slide, we learned that a partnership deed is a written agreement between partners. Now let's see what it contains. That is the contents of a partnership deed. The first is the name and the address of the firm and all partners. The second is the nature and place of business, which explains what business the firm carries on and where it operates. The third is the capital contribution of each partners. This specifies how much money each partners invest in the business. The fourth is the profit sharing ratio. It clearly mentions how profits and losses will be shared among the partners. The fifth one is rights, duties, and powers of each partners. This helps to avoid confusion about responsibilities. Finally, it includes the rules for admission of new partners, retirement of the existing partner, and settlement of disputes. Now, let's understand why a partnership deed is important. The first one is avoid misunderstandings. Since everything is written clearly, partners know their rights and responsibility from the beginning. This reduces conflicts in the future. The next is act of a legal proof. The deed serve as a legal evidence if the dispute arises. For example, if two partners disagree about the profit sharing ratio, the partnership deed provides the official record. The third is guides business decision. The deed acts as a guide whenever important decisions need to be taken. It helps partners to follow the agreed rules instead of making decisions based on personal opinions. For example, imagine two friends open a cafe without a written deed. Later on, one partner demands 70% of the profit because he worked long hours. Without a deed, resolving the dispute becomes difficult. But if a written deed exists, the agreed profit sharing ratio is already mentioned, making the issue easy to settle. So remember, partnership deed protects both the business and the partners. Now let's study the types of partners. Not all partners perform the same role. The first is active partner, also called managing partner. An active partner invests capital, manages the business, takes decision and deal with customers. Since they actively manage the business, they also have unlimited liabilities. The second is sleeping partners, also known as the dormant partners. A sleeping partner contributes capital and shares profit and losses, but does not participate in day to day management of the business. Even though they do not manage the business, they still have unlimited liability. The simple difference is active partner means invest plus manages the business, and sleeping partners is invest but does not manage. So next type of partner is nominal partner. A nominal partner does not invest capital and does not participate in the management of the business. They simply allow the firm to use their name and reputation. For example, a famous sports person may allow a sports shop to use their name to attract customers. Even though they do not receive profit, they can still be held liable to outsider because their name creates trust. The next type is partner by estoppel. A partner by estoppel is not an actual partner but behaves in such a way that other people believe they are partner. For example, a person regularly attends business meetings, signs business letters, or introduces themselves as a partner. If outsider believe this and deal with the firm, that person becomes legally liable even without a formal partnership agreement. So nominal partner means gives only the name, and partner by estoppel creates the impression through their own behavior. Both may become legal to outsiders even though they are not actively managing the business. The another type of partner is partner by holding. A partner by holding out is not an actual partner but becomes liable because others represent him as a partner and he does not deny it. In simple words, if someone knows that people are calling them a partner but remain silent, the law treats that person as a partner. For example, if firm advertisement mentions Mr. Ravi as a partner, Ravi knows about it but does not object. If a customer gives credit to him believing Ravi is a partner, Ravi can be held legally liable. So, partner by estoppel means the person creates the impression by their own action, and partner by holding out. Others create the impression, but the person remains silent. Now, let's discuss an important concept. Can a minor become a partner? The answer is no. According to the Indian Contract Act, a minor cannot enter into a contract. Therefore, a minor cannot become a full partner. However, under the Indian Partnership Act 1932, a minor may be admitted to the benefits of partnership with the consent of all the partners. This means a minor can share the profit of the firm. A minor can inspect the accounts of the firm. A minor is not personally liable for the firm's debt. Their liability is limited to the share in the partnership. When the minor becomes 18-year-old, they must decide within 6 months whether to become a full partner or leave the partnership. If they decide to continue, they will become a full partner with unlimited liability. Let's quickly revise the type of partners. The first is active partners. They contributes to capital, manages the business and has unlimited liability. Next is sleeping partners. They contributes capital but does not participate in management, still has unlimited liability. This is nominal partners. They does not invest capital or manages the business, only lends their name to the firm. They are liable to outsiders. Next is partners by estoppel. They does not invest, not an actual partners become liable because of their own behavior. And next is partners by holding out. They does not invest, not an actual partner become liable because of others represent them as a partner and they do not object. They have an unlimited liability to outsiders. Next is my minor partner can enjoy the benefits of partnership, does not invest, cannot become a full partner until they attain majority, and their liability is limited to the capital share. So, important points from today's classes. Partnerships are easy to form but carries unlimited liability. A written partnership deed is essential. Registration unlocks legal rights, and partners type determines rights, duties, and liabilities. I hope this session helped you to understand the topic in a simple and exam oriented way. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to Concept Wise Learning Hub. Clear concept for smarter study. Thank you for watching. See you in next class.